We have 4 sons, and you may have heard this already, but it's worth mentioning. There are 4 sons: the smart son, the wicked son, the simple son, and the one who doesn't know how to ask. Some people say that the one who doesn't know how to ask is the worst of them all. He can't even come up with a question because he's so indifferent. Or he's just not intelligent enough or knowledgeable enough to even have a question about the subject, and he has to be introduced to the subject right from the beginning, starting from scratch. Another opinion is that the one who doesn't know how to ask is the highest of them all. He doesn't understand what's with all the questions. If God says, do this, you do this. What's with the questions? So he is the most honest and the most in tune. And he doesn't see a need for questioning and asking. Also, people assume that the smart son is the best. He comes first, he sits at the head of the table, he is smart. They translate it as the wise son, but the Hebrew says chacham. Chacham is not wise, chacham is smart. The wicked son, of course, he's the worst of them all, according to some. And then the simple son, Nebuch, not so bright. He asks a simple question, you give him a simple answer, you let it go. The best way to think of it is this. A smart son is not the best. Because sometimes it's not so good to be so smart. The comedian says, my sons grew up, they're not very smart. And it's my fault, I know. Because when they were young, I said to them, don't get smart. And they didn't. So being smart is not necessarily a compliment. The smart son asks, why are there 3 different kinds of mitzvahs? Some make sense, some make a little sense, some don't make any sense. Either God should be totally mysterious and nothing should make sense, or if God is trying to be reasonable and fit our level of intelligence, then everything should make sense. The wicked son is in a bad mood. He's there at the Seder every year, but he doesn't understand what the big deal is. What is this serving? What is this avodah? What do we have to go to such lengths? The simple son is the wise one. Keep things simple, because that's where the truth is. So the simple son is actually answering his brothers with his own question. The smart son says, why are there 3 kinds of mitzvahs? What does the simple son say? Mazes. What are you talking about? What's a mitzvah? Before you ask why there are 3 different types, which shows how smart you are, what is a mitzvah? Do you know what a mitzvah is? What really is a mitzvah? If you knew the answer to that, your question would disappear. And then to the wicked son, the simple son says, Mazes. You want to know why all this effort and why all this avodah of serving God? How does it mean to serve? What does it mean to serve? If you could answer that simple question, your question would disappear. So this is a very good lesson for life in general. Before we have a definition of what it is we're talking about, don't go off on tangents asking questions about details when you don't even have the definition. So the simple son is the wise one. He wants to know, what are we talking about? What really is the topic? Don't gloss over it and ask questions when you haven't established the real definition.
Partner with Rabbi Friedman. Visit itsgoodtoknow.org/support.